What's going on, y'all? It's Big Facts again, coming at you with another video. So video footage of a killing that took place on February 23rd of this year in Georgia had been released. Now, in this killing, a gentleman by the name of Ahmaud Arbery was killed by two people, Gregory and Travis McMichael. Now, the killing took place after Gregory and Travis McMichael had took it upon themselves to be some sort of vigilantes when they were given information that Mr. Ahmaud Arbery had allegedly been breaking into homes within the area and that he fit the description of somebody who potentially has. So they took it upon themselves to go after Mr. Ahmaud Arbery, who was out for a jog, apparently, and went and took his life. Just like that. Now, many people claim this is a lynching. I don't know Georgia's laws. And by the looks of it and from the video footage, it clearly looks like a lynching. You know, two or more people taking deadly force after a single individual, having weapons and chasing after him and using deadly force. That looks clearly like a lynching. Now, whether or not Mr. Arbery had committed any crimes, that has not been proven yet. But what is known is this, that his life has been taken unjustly and by two individuals who are just going off of suspected information that probably is not true, more than likely. Now, in this case, it gets even deeper because it comes to find out that actually Gregory McMichael was a former police officer, former investigator. And one of the prosecutors that were on this case had to recently recuse himself because of the fact of the close ties that he had with that police department that Gregory McMichael once worked for. Now, the prosecutor who had to recuse himself is George E. Barnhill. And after Mr. Ahmaud's family, particularly his mother, had, petitioned that he remove himself from the case, he finally did so. So this goes to show you this is just typical, Southern backwood, good old boy behavior. Basically using these laws, these corrupt laws that were basically instituted to harshly punish Black people or any other minority group, primarily Black people. They're using these laws to help them get away with killing Black people. And this happens time and time again. And what's so crazy is that, this happens, all this information happens 2 days from, 2 days from the anniversary of the killing of Trayvon Martin. So these things had run a pattern. It's the same old pattern in a lot of these southern states because you don't see this type of behavior necessarily, or these type of laws, these citizens arrest laws or these stand your ground laws. You don't necessarily see a lot of this stuff happening in coastal areas of the country. You don't see a lot of that happening. However, you do see it in a lot of these Midwest or southern states. Okay? And the killing happened, 3 days before the anniversary of the killing of Trayvon Martin. So correction there. And the killing of Trayvon Martin took place in Florida, another southern backwood state. So what I want to put out there is that when you look at the reports from all this stuff coming out, you're going to see that there's a lot of corruption in that police department, a lot of, good old boy behavior, a lot of pro-police aggression behavior. Because for somebody like Mr. Gregory McMichael, a former police officer can go out and take the law into his hands just like this, knowing, or at least should have some sort of common understanding of how to handle this matter. But he took it upon himself thinking that he was above the law. And if he can go out and do such a thing, this goes to show you that, look, people in this area, primarily black people, you are behind enemy lines. You have to be aware of this. You have to be very, very cognizant to the self-defense laws that your states have. Because this is the game that they're going to try to play. They're going to try to go the legal route and try to say that, hey, they were all within their rights. They had registered guns, that they were following protocol. Protocol meaning, citizens arrest protocol. And, the law does not allow a group of people to form an armed posse and to chase down any unarmed individual, which Mr. Ahmaud was, an unarmed individual. The law does not allow that in the state. Despite, even if the person is some sort of perpetrator of a past crime, this has nothing to do. And all this information was alleged information. They had no concrete evidence to do so. Nothing at all to do so. But they went ahead and took the law upon themselves to go and kill an unarmed individual. So the best thing I would say for black people, especially in this times that we face, if you are in any of these southern states or Midwest states that have these backward laws, you have to familiarize yourself legally. You have to be familiar with the laws in that state. Protect yourself at all times. Because they are definitely not playing fair here. They are definitely not playing fair here. And they're looking at every way to try to take you out. Whether it's, opening up the state for coronavirus, knowing fully well that black people are heavily impacted. They are the most heavily impacted group because people of lower socioeconomic backgrounds, the majority tend to be people of color in those states. And those are the people who have less access to proper health care, less access to a lot of the necessities to keep themselves going. More so talking economically, like jobs. Less access to health care. And clearly they have less access to justice. But, like I said, the best thing to do to combat this is not to necessarily go out there and march harder, or fight harder. You have to just be smarter. And by being smarter, you have to familiarize yourself with the laws and take those same laws and apply it to your enemy. Use their own weapons against them. Because this shit has got to stop. This kind of behavior has got to stop. No marching this time, just straight action. Have to give it to them. You have to play them. You have to beat them at their own game. But I want to hear what y'all have to say. Justice for Ahmaud. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm out.